We were not supposed to be there. But human curiosity, the curiosity that always drives us toward the unknown, is what led us to the worst nightmare in human history. Aboard the spaceship Falcon 9X, the mission was clear: to explore an unregistered planet in the galactic database, located 120 light-years from Earth. Initial reports from robotic probes confirmed that it had an atmosphere very similar to Earth's, and perhaps, just perhaps, harbored some form of life. But no one was prepared for what we found there. After 7 months of deep space travel, the planet appeared before us. It was a giant with a dark blue hue, covered by clouds moving at an unnatural speed. Its climatic systems did not follow any known logic. But that did not stop us. The landing was smooth, until everything began to turn into a nightmare. The atmosphere on the planet's surface was calmer than we expected. No wind, no sounds, just a heavy silence surrounding us like a shroud. The ship's captain, Ryan Kovacs, led the first exploration team. 4 scientists, each specialized in a specific field. They were excited, collecting samples, recording observations, sending reports to the ship. But only 2 hours after the exploration began, strange things started happening. The first to disappear was Dr. Michael, the biologist. He was studying the soil composition when we heard his scream piercing the silence. When we turned around, he had vanished completely, as if the ground had swallowed him. There was no trace, no blood, no footprints, nothing. It was as if he had never existed. The captain ordered everyone to return immediately to the ship, but before we could reach it, we started seeing them. At first, we thought they were just shadows, an optical illusion caused by the planet's unfamiliar atmosphere. But they were not shadows. They moved and they were watching us. Gelatinous shapes, partially transparent, yet taking on semi-human features. They had no eyes, yet we felt them observing us. Then, without any sound, one of them moved toward us with terrifying speed. It did not walk. It did not run. It glided across the ground. Dr. Sandra disappeared in the same way. She did not scream. She did not even try to escape. It was as if she was sucked into oblivion. We barely made it back to the ship. The doors closed behind us, but we knew. We were no longer alone. The ship's security cameras captured impossible images. We were 5 when we entered the ship, but on the screens, we were 6. There was an extra person standing among us, someone we neither saw nor heard. We turned off the lights, waiting in silence, but we were not alone. The whispers began to echo throughout the ship, faint voices in incomprehensible languages. Every time we opened our eyes, we found one of us staring into the void, as if seeing something we could not perceive. Kovacs decided to start the engines and return to Earth. But before he could lift the ship, all systems shut down at once. Total darkness enveloped the place. And then, we saw them. They were no longer just shadows. They were there, standing among us, unnaturally tall, their bodies resembling condensed smoke. Then, without warning, the ship began to change. The walls started shifting as if they were breathing. The corridors stretched into infinity, as if the ship was no longer physically as it was. The ship turned into a labyrinth with no way out. We tried reaching the control room, but it was no longer there. We tried turning on the lights, but the light no longer repelled the darkness. Instead, it seemed to strengthen their presence. We began losing each other one by one. There were no more screams, only moments of silence followed by complete disappearance. Then it was my turn. When I woke up, I was in a completely different place. It was not the ship, not the planet. I was an absolute void, but I was not alone. Around me, hundreds, maybe thousands of them, standing in silence, watching me as if I were a new experiment for them. Then, I heard the voice. It was not a human voice, nor did it come from a specific place. It was inside me. You were not supposed to come here. Then, in the same mysterious way I had disappeared, I found myself back in the cockpit. I was alone. The ship was intact, but the crew was gone. No trace of them, no recordings, no evidence they had ever been here. The engines started on their own. The systems came back online as if nothing had happened. The ship automatically set course for Earth, and I had no choice but to wait. When I arrived on Earth, the screens were filled with messages from Ground Command. I had been missing for 5 years, but for me, it had only been a few hours. I could not explain what happened. I could not even tell them the truth because I knew I would not be believed. But there is one thing I know for sure. We are not alone. We have never been alone. But the real question, did they let me return because they wanted to, or because I am now one of them? I returned to Earth, but I did not return as I was. In the reports, I was the sole survivor of the Falcon 9X mission, but I know the truth. I am not the survivor. I am the only one who was sent back. Why? I do not know. I underwent extensive medical examinations, and they found nothing abnormal. They said I was in perfect health, but I can feel it. There is something else inside me, something that was not there before. Sometimes when I am alone in my room, I hear those whispers again. The same incomprehensible language I heard on the ship. Sometimes I see fleeting faces in the corners of the mirror, shadows standing there watching me. I tried convincing myself that these were just hallucinations, a psychological effect of what I had been through. But every night, before I sleep, I feel that there are eyes watching me. Not human eyes, theirs. And one day I woke up to find a message written on my mirror. No hand had written it, but it was carved, as if someone wanted to leave me a warning or a threat. You have returned, but you did not come back alone, and now whenever I look at the sky, I do not see it as I once did. The stars are no longer just distant points of light. They are eyes staring at me, waiting for the right moment. The question is no longer, are we alone? It has become, when will they come back to take me?